The Only One Who Can See Him. Episode 1. Our Strange New House. Ava did not like the house. She didn't like the way it sat quietly at the end of the street, as if it were listening. She didn't like the peeling paint or the tall windows that reflected the sky too clearly. And she especially didn't like the fact that moving here meant leaving all her friends behind. The town itself was small and painfully quiet. No traffic, no noise, just the sound of birds and wind brushing through old trees. This place looks like it has secrets, she muttered as she handed over a box to her mom. She bent to pick one of the boxes, too, and climbed upstairs with it to her room. If I disappear, you'll know the house ate me, she said, though her mom wasn't around. The house smelled old, not dirty, just aged. Like it had lived many lives already. As she carried boxes inside, she kept making comments. Why are the doors so tall? Who needs ceilings this high? Why does this place feel like it's judging me? She laughed at her own jokes, but the house stayed silent. Too silent. Eventually, she dragged her last box upstairs and dropped it in her room. The room was larger than she expected. Pale walls, one wide window, some woods affixed at the sides of the bed. She sighed and flopped down onto the mattress, staring at the ceiling. She was very tired, and she pondered about how her living in this new place was going to be. That's when she heard it. Hey, her heart jumped. She sat up slightly, listening. Nothing. She let out a nervous laugh. Great. First day here, and I'm already imagining voices. She lay back down, trying to relax. Then it came again. Hey, clearer this time. Closer. Her body went stiff. She didn't move, didn't breathe. Her heart pounded so loudly she was sure it could be heard. Slowly, she sat up. And that's when she saw him. A boy stood near the window of her room. Pale, still. His clothes looked old, like they belonged to another time. His eyes were gentle, almost apologetic. She screamed, or at least, she tried to. Instead, she panicked, scrambled backwards, and fell straight off the bed with a loud thud. The boy blinked. Oh, he said softly. I didn't mean to scare you. She stared up at him from the floor, too shocked to move. Too shocked to scream, too shocked to realize that the strange new house had been waiting for her. The Only One Who Can See Him. Episode 2. The Boy Who Never Left. Ava hit the floor hard, the air rushing out of her lungs. Ow, sorry, the boy said quickly. I didn't mean to hurt you. She froze. Slowly, she looked up at him, really looked this time. He stood near her desk, hands half raised, like he didn't know what to do with them. He looked normal, too normal. That somehow scared her more. Who are you? She asked, her voice shaking, and what are you doing in my room? The boy hesitated, then said quietly, this was my room too. Ava let out a short, disbelieving laugh. That's not possible. We just moved in yesterday. I know, he replied. But it still was. Her stomach dropped. No, she said firmly. That doesn't make sense. He looked around the room. The boxes, the unfamiliar furniture, the tall door she already hated. This was my room, he repeated. And I never really left. Before she could say anything else, fear took over. Ava scrambled to her feet and ran. She burst into the hallway, then down the stairs. Mom, she called out, breathless. Mom, you need to come upstairs, now. Her mother rushed after her, confused. Ava, what's wrong? There's someone in my room, Ava said, pulling her back upstairs. There's a boy. They reached the room. It was empty. No boy. No movement. Just boxes and silence. Her mother frowned. Ava, there's no one here. Ava's chest tightened. She looked around wildly. He was gone. He was just here, Ava whispered. Her mother sighed gently. You're tired. We've had a long day. Get some rest, okay? When her mother left, Ava stood alone in the room, heart pounding. Hello, she whispered. Nothing. Later that evening, Ava sat at the kitchen table while her mother cooked. She tried to act normal, but her eyes kept darting around. She walked to the sink to wash her hands. But she felt the familiar presence. She felt him. The boy stood beside her. He reached out to touch her but hesitated. Rather, He walked to the other side of the kitchen. Before she could utter any word, she turned and nearly collapsed when she saw her mom pass, directly through the boy. Ava's words died in her throat. She looked at the boy, then at her mother. He was watching her carefully now, like he already knew. The only one who can see him. Episode 3. Two strangers bound by a mystery. Later that night, Ava sat quietly in her room. She closed the door behind her. The room feels different now, too quiet, too heavy. She sits on the floor, hugging her knees to her chest. Her thoughts race. Why can't I see him? Why couldn't Mom? Why is he even here? Her heart feels tight with confusion. She stares at the floor, replaying the moment her mother walked straight through him. The image refuses to leave her mind. Then, a soft movement beside her. She looks up. He's there again. The boy. This time, she isn't startled. She isn't scared. She isn't annoyed. She's just curious. He walks closer and slowly sits on the floor beside her, close but not touching. For a while, neither of them says anything. The silence is calm. Finally, he speaks. Hey. She turns her head slightly. Hi. He hesitates, then asks softly. Were you scared? She nods. Yeah. He exhales quietly. Me too. She frowns a little, turning fully to face him. How is that possible? She asks. How could she pass right through you? He looks down at his hands. I don't know. Ava swallows. How long have you been here? Like 50 years, almost a century. He looks up quickly. No. She blinks. What? I've only been here since yesterday. Her eyes widen. But we arrived yesterday too. I know, he replies gently. I guess I'm stuck here now. There's sadness in his voice. Without thinking, Ava reaches out and gently places her hand over his. Hey, she says softly. At least I can see you. He lets out a small, relieved smile. I'm glad you do. She studies him for a moment, then asks quietly. What happened to you? He shakes his head slowly. I don't know. Then he adds, almost apologetically. I hardly remember my past, Ava. She gasps. You know my name. He looks just as surprised. I didn't realize I said it. There's a pause. She gathers her courage. What's your name? He thinks for a long moment, then shakes his head. I don't remember. Silence settles between them again. Then he looks at her, hesitant but hopeful. Do you mind giving me one? She studies his face, the softness, the kindness, the familiarity. Jake, she says quietly. He repeats it, testing the sound. Jake. A small smile spreads across his face. That's a nice name, he says with gratitude. She smiles too. She chose it because he reminded her of a character from her favorite storybook, brave, gentle, and lost. She looks at him for a while longer. He really is adorable. I'll help you find you, she says firmly. I promise. Jake looks at her, stunned. For a moment, he can't speak. Then he swallows. I'd really appreciate that. They sit there together on the floor, side by side. Two strangers bound by a mystery neither of them understands yet.